Myriads of issues confronting the nation, but what is the president's approach to resolving some of the problems of the country? We'll find out tonight on how President Buhari is approaching the issues. And the Nigerian Senate today resumed, but read President Buhari's letter seeking confirmation of the service chiefs. Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. After about 2 months of recess, the Senate today resumed plenary for the first time this year. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, read a letter from President Muhammadu Buhari seeking the confirmation of new service chiefs. The new service chiefs are now Major General Lucky Rabo, who is the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Ibrahim Atayiru, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Awal Gambo, Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Oladayo Amo, who is the Chief of Air Staff. The Senate President also read a letter from President Buhari seeking the confirmation of the immediate past service chiefs as non-career ambassadorial nominees. The appointment of the immediate past service chiefs, General Gabriel Olonishaki, Lieutenant General Tuko Buratai, Air Vice Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, and Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas had been widely criticized by the opposition People's Democratic Party and other public commentators for their handling of the nation's security challenge.
Appointment of Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs for the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in compliance with the provisions of Section 18, Subsection 1 of the Armed Forces Act, Cap A20 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, I hereby forward for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the underlisted officers as Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Dear distinguished Senate President, appointment of non-career ambassador designate in accordance to Section 171, subsections 1, 2c, and subsection 4 of 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I have the honor to forward for confirmation by the Senate the underlisted 5 names of nominees as non-career ambassadors designate. Copies of their curriculum vitae are attached herewith. 1. General Abayomiji Olenishakin, retired, Ekiti State. Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, retired, Borno State. Vice Admiral Ibok Ete E. Ibas, retired, Cross River State. Air Marshal Sadiq B. Abubakar, retired, Bauchi State. And Air Vice Marshal Mohammed S. Usman, retired, Kano State. While hoping that this request will receive the usual expeditious consideration of the Senate, please accept the single Senate President the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
That's the letter of President Buhari to the Senate seeking confirmation. These are some of the issues that some people have raised about those appointments that the president had made, and some of the issues on the table right now in the country. Because the issue of security is big in the land. A lot of people are talking about how safe and unsafe they are wherever they are in the country. And this gets us talking. Let's also tell you that the president today flagged off the groundbreaking ceremony of the Kano, Katsina, Jibia, Maradi Railway project with a branch line to Duse in Jigawa State. The president was speaking virtually at the Quarantama village in Katsina State, the venue of the ceremony. President Buhari says the project, when completed, will no doubt enhance economic activities in a higher level, particularly the trans-Saharan trade between the two countries. He further urged private investors to take full advantage of the opportunity and engage in legitimate businesses aimed at transforming the nation's economy. Well, an average citizen will wonder how some of these projects and initiatives impact on the food on his or her table. Tonight, we shall be taking on some of the issues that may be on your mind as a citizen and ask the presidency the approach and the manner in which they hope to tackle them. Let's begin our conversation tonight with talking with the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, who joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Adesina, for joining us tonight on the program. Let me perhaps begin the conversation in what may be some of the biggest story in the land as we talk today. And I'd like you to listen to a governor, the governor of Benue State, what is said as regarding the issue of security and the way and manner the federal government and the president is approaching things. Take a listen to the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom.
When I talk, I was being castigated. I was being vilified. Nothing bad that was not said against me. I am this and that. But the reality is here. It is not just happening to Benue State today. It is happening to the entire country. Why is the federal government being silent about this Fulani man?
Mr. Adesina, how does the president react, or what's the president's reaction to what Mr. Ortom has said? He's asked a specific question, that why is the president or the federal government silent on the killer herders, those who are carrying AK-47?
If the governor will say that he hasn't heard the president speak on that matter, that's what he should make clear. It's not that the president hasn't spoken. Because a number of times the president has spoken on that issue, and his position has always been the same. Anybody, whoever he is, that carries arms unlawfully should be arrested and prosecuted. The president has said it countless times, and that is the position. No matter who he is, wherever he comes from, criminality is criminality. Anybody bearing arms unlawfully must be arrested and prosecuted. That's the position of the president.
When the president made a reaction to what the Ondo State governor said as regarding banning open grazing and giving ultimatum to those who are in the forest and who are carrying arms and, in Ondo forest, in the forest reserves in Ondo State, there was a swift reaction from the president, which gave a lot of Nigerians worries, especially those who reacted to it. The manner in which the president had reacted to that matter at the time brought some suspicion. And so perhaps that's one of the reasons why he's speaking about this, and particularly because when fingers are pointed, especially to a particular ethnic stock where the president is also from, don't you think that there needs to be some very critical or categorical statement coming from the president that there is no endorsement of any sort of some of these bad behaviors?
Every statement from the president is categorical. Anything the president says is categorical. So you don't need to ask for any categorical statement again. And many times he has spoken about this. Remember that some few days before the Ondo saga, there had been the Sokoto one, in which some people gave ultimatum to Bishop Hassan Kuka of the Catholic Diocese to leave town. The presidency was against it. Would we say the president spoke because Bishop Kuka was also Fulani? Not at all. Not at all. The president is the president of the whole country, and peace and security of the country devolves on him, and he must do everything fairly and impartially at all times.
When the governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, visited the president, some of the leaders of the APC in Daura, he made a very categorical statement. He's a Fulani man as well. And he said that one of the solutions, or the solutions to this problem, is to stop the movement of cattle or herders moving from the southern region of the country to the northern region of the country. There seems not to be a reaction of the federal government in this direction when there seems to be a major problem. But a governor of the APC, the ruling party, is giving an idea on how to resolve it, but there is no response, or there is no backing from the president. How do you think Nigerians will react to it, Mr. Additional?
No, no, no. When you have knotty issues like this, many ideas will be proffered, many solutions will be canvassed. The president does not have to speak on each and every one of them. It does not have to. It was just an idea being proffered. It should be looked into. And if it is a consensus, then it should be adopted. But it's not that one idea comes and the president speaks on it. Another idea comes and the president speaks on it. Such must be a very talkative president.
No, but in this matter, Mr. Additional, it has to do with life and death. Because people's lives are being affected, impacted. People are being maimed and killed. People are being kidnapped right in their homes. People are deserting their own homes. People are no longer safe in their own farmsteads, in their own homes. These are not just any other kind of issue. These are specific issues that has to do with security of lives of citizens of this country. And when people are saying that there is a major concern and there is a governor who is giving an idea on which way to go, and so would you describe this as just any other issue, Mr. Additional?
Now you have dwelt on the problems now extensively, which I think is the problem in Nigeria. And even with the media, of which I'm part, we keep dwelling on the problem and pay little, scant attention to solutions. On this program, I watched it when you devoted the whole program to that idea from Governor Ganduje. So ideas will need to be discussed back and forth and critically assessed. It's not that when an idea comes, immediately you take it and you say, this is the solution. It never happens that way in a country. You must discuss things back and forth till you arrive at what you can call a consensus, something that will be generally acceptable. There was a time that the country seemed to have agreed that ranching was the solution to this problem. And when the federal government embraced it, some states began to say, no, we don't have land. We will not give our land for ranches. And before then, it had been generally agreed that ranching will be the solution. In fact, in most parts of the world, cattle are kept in ranches. But Nigeria is a peculiar country. When the federal government has no land, for instance, and if states say we don't have land for ranches, then another solution has to be found. So we need to discuss these things and appraise them critically until we get to what we can call the solution. But it's good that it's been discussed, and gradually I think we'll get there.
All right, we are due for a break, but just in a few seconds before we go, so let us know, Mr. Additional, what is President Buhari's position in terms of the way forward as we speak as of now to resolving the issue? Not only the fact that, let's stop this and let's stop, it's the fact that people are being killed. What is President Buhari's position now?
His position has always been that anybody that bears arms unlawfully should be arrested and tried, irrespective of where it comes from. That is his position. And some other positions that have been canvassed on settling these issues, the president has spoken about them. The old cattle routes we know that have been taken over by civilization. So it means we will have to look into ranching. Governor Tom that you quoted earlier, I remember had spoken about ranching in the past. He has spoken about ranching in the past. But suddenly, he would then turn around and say, no, we don't have land again for ranches. At another time, they said Ruga settlements. People came up in arms and said, no, we don't have land for Ruga. Others will say, no, animal rearing is a private enterprise. Government must not be involved in it. It brings the question, are we interested in settling these issues and settling them permanently to the good of all the sides? That's something we must consider as Nigerians.
Well, Mr. Adesina, you and I know that the issue of ethnicity is always a very touchy one in the country, and so it needs to be carefully handled. And perhaps the reason why a lot of Nigerians are worried is because President Buhari is from the ethnic stock where these fingers are being, perhaps they needed President Buhari to say, to perhaps the Fulanis to say, the bad Fulani herders should stop. Perhaps that's what people are expecting. But I'll allow you to dwell more on that matter and some other issues when we come back from this break. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll get back talking on these matters. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Mr. Femi Adesina, the spokesperson of President Muhammadu Buhari, has been talking to us from our Abuja studio on some of the issues of the state of the nation. But before we get back to Mr. Femi Adesina, there are a few political stories that you need to know about on our political roundup. Take a listen to them. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has flagged off the All Progressive Congress membership registration and revalidation exercise in Ogun State, Southwest Nigeria. The Vice President was in company of the State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, the APC registration chairman, and the Governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, and other members of the state executive of the party in Ogun State. The VP presented himself for validation at his Ward 01 Unit 003 Egunrege in Ikene local government area of the state, the home state of the late sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo. The Vice President, while addressing chieftains and residents, says he has confidence in the ability of the newly appointed service chiefs towards finding solutions to the security challenges.
With the new service chiefs that Mr. President has just appointed, we have a fresh set of eyes, intellect and skills, and a fresh look at strategies against the insurgencies in the northeast, as well as against banditry and kidnapping elsewhere.
And in Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu participated in the APC registration and revalidation exercise. Governor Sanwo-Olu did this at his ward in the premises of the St. Stephen's School, Okepopo, in Lagos Island. The governor was accompanied by some party leaders in the state.
My only message is for all of us to go out to our relevant polling units, our wards, and our local government and do our registration.
And still in the southwest region of the country, now in Ekiti State, Governor Kade Fayemi says the All Progressives Congress APC is keen on remaining registered in the minds of the people ahead of the state governorship election next year. Governor Fayemi, who flags up the party registration and revalidation exercise for existing members of the party in the state, says a recent comment credited to a leader of the party is not a condemnation of the exercise.
We're not a new product. We're a product that the people are familiar with. And everywhere you go, everywhere you turn to in this state, you can see evidence of governance.
The only opposition member of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Honorable Rahim Agbola, has been sworn in today. The PDP lawmaker is sworn in 14 months after winning the House of Assembly election and was denied being sworn in by the leadership of the House. However, after a long-drawn legal battle, the member has finally been sworn in and now becomes the only member of the PDP out of the 24 members in the House of Assembly. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's get back to the conversation with Mr. Femi Adesina. Perhaps on a final note on the issue of the farmer herders clash and President Buhari's approach to it, some question that some Nigerians are asking is if truly there is an effort or there is a major reaction for the president, is how many of these killer herders have been arrested?
Thank you. I don't have that figure at my fingertips, but I remember that the vice president made that figure available sometime in the past, and it was in hundreds, those who had been arrested and were awaiting trial. I don't have the current figure, but I know that a lot of people are awaiting trial out of those clashes. But one thing I'd like to stress is that it is anomalous to say a whole ethnic group are criminals or killers. No. It's not right to stereotype a whole ethnic group. There are always bad eggs among any ethnic group. Any ethnic group will have its bad eggs. And if ethnic groups come from, if bad eggs come from any ethnic group, they need to be dealt with, and dealt with as criminals. You don't then stereotype that entire ethnic group. So the president has said it. If anybody commits crime, whichever ethnic group he comes from, if he's Fulani, please arrest him and let him answer for it.
But
That
out of
is
these
position
people,
of the
Mr.
president
Additional,
and of-
out of these people that you have mentioned, that you said they are in 100, how many of convictions as the count? Because this is usually a criminal offense, so it's an offense against the state. So
Yes,
how many of them have been convicted?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, because the executive does not convict. It's the judiciary that convicts. But
No, the police,
know, for instance,
the police, for example, Mr. Additional, the police will take those kind of cases to court, because they will, statutory, the police have the powers to prosecute these kind of cases. The police IG answers to the president. So the president should have, or the presidency should have, answers to some of these issues.
No, that's a simplistic way to see it. If the police prosecutes, the police has a spokesman. They meet him. How many people have been prosecuted and how many have been convicted? I remember that when the farm of Chief Olufalaye was vandalized and even burnt down by some people who turned out to be Fulani criminals, they were taken to court and they were jailed. They were convicted. So it's a matter of, from the police, from the judiciary, find the statistics of those who have been taken to court and who have been convicted. It will not be a matter for the presidency at this point in time.
So Mr. Additional, let's leave that matter and go into some other policy and governance related matter as regarding how the president is handling these issues. Is the president worried about the optics of how citizens see him or perceive his government in the light of the legality of his actions? Take, for example, when the president announced the extension of the tenure of the IG, a lot of lawyers, senior lawyers in the land, said that was an illegal action and that the IG stands a retired officer, and under the law, the president does not have the power to do so. Why does it look so much that the president has not reacted to that decision, or reacted or reversed his decision that a lot of people have said are illegal? That is on one hand. The other angle was that it looks like a belated action when the president should, according to lawyers, have gone to the National Assembly to first and foremost inform them of his willingness to nominate service chiefs. The president did that after he has first made the announcement. This has been done in the past, but they have said it is wrong. These are some of the illegal issues that have been raised, and allegedly by lawyers that have been raised as the actions of President Buhari.
Well, what you know is that lawyers are one set of professionals who never all agree on the same issue. You find them all positioning on different sides of an issue. The president has an attorney general, a minister of justice, who advises him on all legal issues. There are many decisions the president will want to take, and he will first ask the attorney general for the legal opinion, for the legal angle to it. And it is when he's been properly briefed on the legality of it that he goes ahead to do it. So don't think the president will just do things according to whims and caprices. No, he seeks opinions, particularly legal opinions. On the issue of the service chiefs, in 2015, when he appointed the service chiefs, yes, he appointed them and sent their names to the National Assembly, which approved. This time, it has also been done. I think it's not a matter that is very germane in terms of legality or not. All that matters is after he has exercised his prerogative, because it is his prerogative to pick the service chiefs, he then sends it to the National Assembly for concurrence.
So, Mr. Additional, you're telling us that it is right for the president to allow a retired police officer to be the Inspector General of Police, and that the president is legal from the point of view of the presidency.
It is within the prerogative of the president to appoint who the Inspector General of Police will be, and he has done that. Whether he's retired or not is a legal matter. I know some lawyers are in court. The court will pronounce on it. I am not a lawyer. Even if I was a lawyer, I'm not a judge. The lawyers are still not judges. It is judges, eventually, who will adjudicate on the matter.
Thank you so much, Mr. Femi Adesina, but we have to leave it at that. Thank you for giving us your views on some of these issues and the position of the presidency on some of these national issues. Thank you indeed. The spokesperson of the president, Muhammadu Buhari, Mr. Femi Adesina, has been our guest tonight. But that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.